D coming at you live with another video, man. And I want to come on up here, man, and I'm gonna talk about Monday Night Raw, but the topic of the night, I'm talking about Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Many more topics coming along the way, so it ain't just about Liv and Roxanne. Let that be known right now. But something resonated with me about Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. I kind of don't like the idea of them winning the tag team titles, but I give my takes about it, man. I give my takes about it, and call it right down the middle on how I feel about it, on what I think they should do. So first person hop on here, man. See who it is, and if it's one of my subscribers, I'll go ahead and start the topic. There had to be a whole bunch of people to come in. Once I got a true loyal subscriber that watch my wrestling content, I'm saying now I can go ahead and start the video. Wish I could see people who be tapping in. Okay, we got one person in the building. All right, comment below so I know who you are. Comment below so I know who you are. What's going on, kicking it with Leo? What's going on? What's going on, man? All right, well, since you one of my subscribers, I can go ahead and start. Hit the like button on my video, man. All right, man, I want to talk about Monday Night Raw, and the main take, I want to talk about Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. So, all right, man. Well, we got a women's tag team match. We got a six women's tag team match tonight, and it was decent. And Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez came out on top. They both came out on top, whatnot. So they're going to be the two challengers for Io Sky and Rhea Ripley women's tag team titles. So my take on that is, I don't really want either of them to win the women's tag team championships. I don't know. I want to see Liv Morgan win the women's Royal Rumble, and she turns on Raquel Rodriguez and put her on notice. Her and Roxanne Perez both. Because I do know, after what Raquel did to Stephanie Valkyrie tonight, which it was stupid for Stephanie Valkyrie to come out there tonight with an injured leg, Raquel is definitely about to win the title. I'm sure of it. She's definitely about to win the title. But I'm gonna get into that and I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. Well, anyway, okay, I really don't like the idea of Liv and Roxanne winning the women's tag team championships. Like I said, I'd rather Liv Morgan win the women's Royal Rumble. And like I said, when Raquel eventually wins the women's world title, she turns on Raquel somewhere down the line and put her on notice. You know what I'm saying? Then what happens is, hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome to the chat. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel if you watch wrestling. But anyway, as I was saying, I'd rather Liv Morgan win the women's world title from Raquel Rodriguez when Raquel eventually wins it. You know what I'm saying? Then, like I said, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez turns on Raquel Rodriguez, and Raquel Rodriguez eventually win the women's world title. And that face off at WrestleMania, Liv Morgan wins the strap. But I also want Roxanne Perez because I'm pretty sure that AJ Lee is possibly going to win the women's IC title. So, but to cut that off for a second, I want Maxine Dupree to win back the women's IC title. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what nobody say. Yes, I want Maxine Dupree to win back the women's IC title. I don't care. But if AJ Lee wins it, then I want Roxanne Perez to win it from AJ Lee. And we got Liv Morgan as the women's world champion and Roxanne Perez as the women's IC champion. Because they're already they work pretty well together. They work pretty well together as a team. They coexist very well. They're a great team. They're a great pair. They don't need to break Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez up anytime soon. I don't. They shouldn't do that in my. They shouldn't do that in my book. But just to stop it right there, Rock. I do want Maxine Dupree to win back the women's IC title. I'm trying not to be all over the place. I would rather Maxine Dupree to win back the women's IC title, being that she's going to be challenging Becky Lynch next week for the women's IC title. So I would love to see Maxine Dupree. I would more so love to see Maxine Dupree become a 2X women's IC champion. I know I've been seeing some fans say that. I've been seeing some fans, including Stevie Richards, say that Maxine Dupree is not ready for the title picture. Damn if she ain't. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all say what y'all want to say. I say Maxine Dupree needs to win back the women's IC title. Why? Because she deserves it way more than Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch don't need the title to feud with AJ Lee and going into WrestleMania 42. That's just my take. So now, if Becky Lynch wins the retains against Maxine Dupree, then hey man, it is what it is. Which is probably me kind of more so predicting she is anyway. I don't really see Maxine winning it back, but I'm not going to sit up here and count Maxine Dupree out neither not to win it back. Because like I said, she more so deserves that women's IC title more than Becky Lynch. As I said in my last recent video, that Maxine Dupree pushing us for nothing. Maxine Dupree could have been a mega babyface as the women's IC champion. She could have. She could have. I don't care what no one says. I'm sure a lot will strongly disagree, but nah, man, nah. So I hope Maxine Dupree wins it back, but I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 she's not. But I'm still rooting for her to win it back anyway and become a 2X women's IC champion. Like I said, if she don't, so be it. I just got to move on. You know, it ain't the end of the world for Maxine Dupree. This is her first title. This is her first title on her resume. There's yet more to come. There's yet more to come. I'm tired of people not understanding Liv Morgan should be winning the Royal Rumble at saying Bianca wins as if she hasn't done that already. Like, is that really a exactly? Exactly. What's going on, Uber Thanos? Hit the like button on my video, my guy. Exactly. Care what nobody say, man. Liv Morgan deserves the Royal Rumble win way more than Bianca. She deserves it. Bianca has done won the Women's Royal Rumble. Let Liv Morgan get her shine. If you ask me, Liv Morgan should have won the Women's Royal Rumble at WrestleMania 24. But they went with Bayley. They went with Bayley. And I was upset about Liv Morgan not winning the Women's Royal Rumble, you know what I'm saying, with her return. Devon Thanos, my fault. It got Uber Thanos. I guess it's Devon. Okay. Well, I know who you are. So it's all good. So yeah, Liv Morgan should have won the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble when she returned. She got the biggest pop that year. No. Hold up. No. Alexa Bliss were also in that Women's Royal Rumble. No, Alexa Bliss got the biggest pop than Liv Morgan. I'm trying to remember this right. Did Alexa Bliss appear in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble? No, I think Alexa Bliss appeared in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble and got the biggest pop. Yes, it was the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble when Alexa Bliss returned. Yeah, and she got the biggest pop. Liv Morgan returned in the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble, which the Royal Rumble she should have won. And Alexa Bliss appeared in the 2025 Women's Royal Alexa Bliss appeared in a 225 Women's Royal Rumble, which Alexa Bliss should have won. So anyway, man. Anyway, Yeah, I know, I know. So like I said, bro, so look here, bro. So Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez is set to face Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for the women's world title, for the women's tag team championships at Saturday night's main event. I'm well aware they're not going to win them. I know that. But what I think is, like I said, they're going to have a feud, and eventually Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez wins the women's tag team straps. They eventually win the women's tag team straps or whatever. Now, do I like the idea of that? Not really. Because I'd rather see Liv Morgan, like I said, win the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble this year. And she turns on Raquel when Raquel wins the women's world title eventually. Turns on Raquel, her and Roxanne Perez both. And Liv Morgan put Raquel on notice. And let her know she's coming for the strap. Let her know she's coming for the strap. So they have a strong heated feud going into WrestleMania 42. They face off. Liv Morgan finally beats Raquel for the first time in her career, but also dethrone her for the women's world title in a hard fought match. And she walks out the new women's world champion, along with Roxanne Perez by her side. That's the way I go about it. Yeah, man, when Alexa Bliss returned at the Women's Royal Rumble last year, man, I popped like I never popped before, bro. Let's get back on topic, man. So, what I think is, I know that EO and Rhea is going to retain. They're going to retain that Saturday night's main event. I know it. I know it. And no way they're going to lose them titles that quick. So I'm already not going to sit up and say Liv and Raquel winning. I know they're not. Now, if they do, I mean, I go with the flow. I go with the flow. I go with it. But like I said, I'd rather Liv Morgan win the women's world title at WrestleMania 42 from Raquel. That's what I'd rather go with. I'd rather go with that solution. But not to leave Roxanne Perez out the loop because she's one of my favorites too, just like Liv Morgan. So what they can do is, like I said, I want to see Maxine Dupree dethrone Becky Lynch next week on Monday Night Raw for the Women's World Strap. I want to see that happen. Like I said, I'm well aware it's not. I know people gonna say, "Man, come on, bro. They ain't what the fuck ever." I don't care. I don't care. Move around. I don't care. Like I said, I want Roxanne. I want Maxine Dupree to become a 2X Women's IC champion. Anybody else that disagree, strongly disagree, fine, fine. It's not gonna make me fold. So if Maxine does win, then they can build a story eventually between Maxine Dupree and Roxanne Perez going into WrestleMania 42. I don't care what nobody say. Disagree if you want to. And and Roxanne wins it for Maxine at WrestleMania 42. Or it could be before then. It can actually be before then. But just give Maxine a short title run. But I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 Maxine ain't winning it back. Becky is going to keep it. She's going to retain. And we're going to get AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 42. And AJ Lee be the person to dethrone Becky Lynch for the women's IC title. Then later on down the line, Roxanne Perez, we get a strong heated feud between Roxanne Perez and AJ Lee. And by that time, Liv Morgan need to already be the women's world champion. Then, like I said, AJ Lee wins the women's IC title at AJ Lee wins the women's IC strap at WrestleMania 42 from Becky. Then later on down the line, they build a story between Roxanne Perez and AJ Lee because they do got great chemistry. This is why I definitely say now that Maxine is not probably not going to win it back. Although I would want her to. But when we get AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the women's IC title when AJ Lee returns, it's going to go into WrestleMania 42. They're going to feud They're going to build a story between those two going into WrestleMania 42 with Becky as the women's IC champion. AJ Lee beat a person to the throne, Becky Lynch, for the women's IC strap. Then later on down the line, we finally get the strong heated feud between Roxanne Perez and AJ Lee. They build a story between those two, and it goes into SummerSlam, and Roxanne Perez finally beat a person to the throne, AJ Lee, for the women's IC title. And we have Liv Morgan as the women's world champion and Roxanne Perez as the new women's IC champion. Both of them be as champion as a team. I'd be all for that. I don't care what nobody say. They disagree. I don't care. I'll give no fucks. I said what I said and I'm gonna stand on that. It wouldn't be a bad idea. But if we get this feud, if we get a strong heated feud between Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, and they eventually win the women's tag team straps from Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, then what they can do is, man, y'all might disagree. I don't care. Give Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez all the damn gold. Give them all the gold. Because I definitely want to see Liv Morgan as the women's world champion. And I want to see Roxanne Perez as the women's IC champion. Do them like they did Sasha Banks and Bayley. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say, man. I would love that. I would love that idea. I would love that. Because they work very well together. Yeah, somebody disagree. That's fine. I don't care. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea because, like I said, we know AJ Lee is going to win the women's IC strap from Becky Lynch eventually, and Liv Morgan needs to win it from Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania 42. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to put all the gold on them. It wouldn't be a bad idea. I know a lot of people would disagree with that shit, man, but I don't give a fuck, man. Cause I just don't want to see Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez as the women's tag team champions. You know what I'm saying? They can be so much more as a team. And I can see it. I can picture it. I can picture it. So I say it's a strong possibility they're going to be feuding with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, and they may eventually win the women's tag team straps. I say no. Go ahead and give me 2 belts Liv and 2 belts Roxanne. Go ahead, go right ahead. Go ahead, both of them with all the damn gold. Liv Morgan as the women's world champion and one half of the women's tag team champion. Roxanne Perez as the women's IC champion and one half of the women's tag team champions. Yeah, shit. Go right ahead. 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 Because I think this is going to be a feud. I think this is going to be a feud. Might as well at this point. Might as well at this point. Although as much as I would want Maxine Dupree win it back, I'm pretty sure she's not winning it back. And the reason why I say that she's probably more so not winning it back because I can see them later on down the line giving me Roxanne Perez versus AJ Lee in a strong heated feud for the women's IC title. And if I'm being honest, that would make more sense. So that's why I kind of had to take back. I would want Max to win, but like I said, I more so don't see her winning it if I'm being honest. Because I see where this could go. AJ Lee beat a person to the throne, Becky Lynch, for the women's IC strap at WrestleMania 42. Then later on down the line, AJ Lee gets a little run as the women's IC champion. Then Roxanne Perez comes out of nowhere and put AJ Lee on notice. and we finally get that story build between Roxanne Perez versus AJ Lee. And a lot of people tune in for that because we all know that Roxanne Perez idolized AJ Lee. That's somebody she met when she was a kid. So you know that's definitely gonna happen. So I'm all for that. So Roxanne Perez and AJ Lee have a strong heated feud going into a SummerSlam, and Roxanne Perez be the one to be the one to be the one to dethrone AJ Lee at WrestleMania at SummerSlam. So we have um Liv Morgan as the Women's World Champion, and now Roxanne Perez as the new as the new, you know what I'm saying, Women's IC Champion. If you want to put the women's tag team titles on the two to go along with those two singles women's titles, hell yeah, I'm all for it. I know a lot of people disagree with that shit because a lot of people don't like Liv Morgan and a lot of them don't like Roxanne Perez. So I know a lot of people would strongly disagree with that take, but ask me do I give a fuck. I say what I said, man. I'm gonna stand on that. I don't care what nobody say. Or they may lose the women's tag team championships before then, but as long as Liv Morgan win the women's world title and Roxanne Perez wins the women's IC title, I'm good because that's what I wanted to begin with. Don't really care too much about them winning the women's tag team championships, but if they can win them right along with both of their singles championships, okay. Yeah, if they can win both of them, if they can win both of the singles titles right along with their tag team championships, okay, cool. I'm all for it. I'm down. I'm down. So we gonna see how it all plays out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that aside. All right, man. Let's talk about I'm gonna talk about Kyrie Sane and Oscar. Cause what's about to happen is Oscar. What's about to happen is Kyrie Sane eventually is going to turn on Oscar. Kyrie Sane is going to turn on Oscar. I said this like a whole year ago because I didn't like the way how Oscar was, bossing Kyrie Sane around and you know slapping her and stuff like that. Talking to her like she's a 10-year-old child. Talking to her like she's a 6-year-old child or whatever, man. Constantly yelling in her face. Just talking to her like she's a 7-year-old child. You know what I'm saying? Yelling at her. She even slapped her one time, and I said, Oscar, your ass need to chill. All I know is script. I know it's all script, but I said, Kyrie saying you need to grow. It's time for you to turn on Oscar. So what's about to happen is they didn't win the tag team titles again. So eventually, Oscar is going to snap. Oscar is going to know what I'm saying, snap, and she's going to take it out on Kyrie Sane. And then we're going to see Kyrie Sane. We're going to see Oscar basically bullying Kyrie Sane by like constantly yelling in her ear and stuff like that. Hitting her and stuff like that. Constantly blaming her for matches that she lost when it wasn't Kyrie Sane's fault. So I see this being a strong heated feud too, and I see this strong heated feud when they finally build a story between Kyrie Sane and Oscar. This their strong heated feud is going to go into SummerSlam. That's what I see happening. Cause even Michael Cole called out, he asked Kyrie Sane, was she scared of Oscar? Because Michael Cole got you know what I'm saying, tired of he got tired of Oscar, bullying Kyrie, basically bullying her. So Oscar has been doing this for a long time. So now that they're no longer the women's tag team champions, and I know they're not winning them back, Oscar is going to eventually snap. She's going to eventually snap, and she's going to start taking her anger out on Kyrie Sane every single week on SmackDown. Constantly yelling in her ear like a, 7-year-old child. Just constantly blaming Kyrie Sane for every single thing every week. just constantly, just constantly, crashing out on this woman. Just constantly crack, you know what I'm saying? Just constantly crashing out on Kyrie every single week about every little thing. And eventually Kyrie Sands get fed up and she eventually, you know what I'm saying, snaps and unleash rage on Oscar. So when she eventually snap and beat the hell out of, you know what I'm saying, Oscar, then there it is. You got the strong heated feud between Kyrie Sane and Oscar. And that's gonna be a pretty good one. Because we never got a feud between those two before. So that feud can go into WrestleMania 40. Could go into SummerSlam. But I don't know. Then again, it could happen before SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't know. Nah, it might happen at SummerSlam. We gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna see. But either way, that feud will cook. Kyrie Sane versus Oscar will cook. Yeah, those two feuding against each other. Yeah, then like I say, Kyrie Sane eventually gets fed up with Oscar crashing out on her all the time. And she eventually snaps and unleash rage on Oscar, and she beat the hell out of her. She beat the, you know what I'm saying, she beat the shit, you know what I'm saying, she beat the shit out of Oscar, and then eventually we get the strong heated feud between those two. There it is right there. She get the strong heated feud, and it goes to SummerSlam. Now who do I see winning the feud? It could possibly go either way. But if I gotta be honest, Oscar have more of the edge. Oscar do have more of the edge than Kyrie. She always have. She has more of the edge. So Oscar might win the feud. But it's gonna be a great match. But like I said, Oscar is gonna eventually snap on Kyrie Sane. And she's gonna be crashing out. She's gonna, you know, so Oscar's gonna eventually snap on Kyrie Sane, just like I said, and she is gonna like crash out on this woman every single week and blame her for everything, like constantly yelling in her ear like a 7-year old, and blame her for every single thing. So eventually, like I said, you know what I'm saying, Kyrie Sane gets fed up with Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, with Oscar constantly crashing out on her, and then she eventually snaps and beat the shit out of Oscar. Then we got the feud between those two. Because Michael Cole, like I said, he got fed up with Kyrie Sane constantly. With Kyrie Sane asking what she's scared of Oscar, he got tired of Kyrie Sane, Oscar bullying Kyrie Sane. So, like I said, eventually Oscar's gonna snap, and she's gonna, you know what I'm saying, she gonna be yelling and she's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, screaming in Kyrie Sane ear every single week like a 7-year old, you know what I'm saying, and blaming her for everything, blaming her for everything. So eventually, that's going to lead to Kyrie Sane eventually snapping. And like I said, she beat the shit out of Oscar. And we finally get the strong heated feud between those two going into SummerSlam. And who's going to win it? It could go either way. But like I said before, Oscar more so have the edge. She more so have the edge. So she might win the feud. Not to say Kyrie Sane won't at least win a match against Oscar. Maybe on Monday Night Raw. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to have some matches before SummerSlam. Tag team matches and stuff like that. But Kyrie Sane could possibly win. Kyrie Sane could win at SummerSlam too. Could she win clean? I don't know. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. Or she might win by Io Scott interfering. Io Scott could get involved. Because I can see when Kyrie Sane Norton eventually snaps, she goes back to Io Scott and apologizes to Io Scott. You know, Io Scott forgives her. She forgives her, and they reunite again. And Oscar right then, that's when Oscar become enraged when she see that Kyrie Sane and Io Sky has done became back friends again, reunited. Right there, that's when something like really come over, you know what I'm saying, Oscar. And that's when, like I said, you know what I'm saying, she become enraged. That's when she really start inflicting, you know what I'm saying, chaos. That's when she really start to, you know what I'm saying, inflict chaos on Kyrie Sane and Io Sky. It all depends, man, because I know Io Sky and Kyrie, Rhea Ripley are probably going to still be a team by then, but that still don't mean that Kyrie Sane can't come to Io Sky and apologize for when they turned on her a whole year ago. And Io Sky for gives her. Io Sky for gives her. So then when we finally get the one-on-one match with Kyrie Sane versus Oscar at SummerSlam, it could possibly go either way. It could possibly go either way. Kyrie Sane could come out on top and win, or Oscar may come on top and win. That's going to be a pretty good feud, though. That would be a pretty good match on the WrestleMania card. Kyrie Sane versus Oscar. So moving forward, moving forward. Okay, man, let's get into Stephanie Vacure and Raquel Rodriguez. Stephanie, huh, sweetheart. That was stupid as hell to come out there to try to, know what I'm saying, put Raquel on those notes to let her know that you weren't scared and you out there with a broken leg. You got an injured leg. That was stupid. You made her inflict more damage on your leg. So what I think they're going to do is, looks like they're going to do the same thing they did with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, which is they don't have to do that. Why are they copying them? But it looks like they are going to have Stephanie Vacure to drop the title to Raquel Rodriguez, wrestling with an injured leg like Tiffany Stratton did Jade Cargill. Now I've seen some people commenting saying that they don't need to do that. If I'm being honest, they don't. Although I like Stephanie Vacure better than Raquel Rodriguez. And no offense to Raquel. I do like Raquel too, but she ain't one of my favorites, but I like her. Stephanie Vacure is one of my favorites. She's one of my actual favorites. But I'm pretty sure and well aware that Raquel is winning the title eventually. She's winning the women's world title eventually. But people saying Raquel don't need to wrestle, don't need to be the injured Stephanie. If I'm being honest, she don't. And the fact that what I don't like is why are they going with the same exact script they did with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill? Why are they doing that? They're booking the same stuff over and over. Booking the same shit over and over. Just give us a regular one-on-one match. So it looks like that's what they're going to do. That's why Stephanie came out there with an injured leg to prove to Raquel she wasn't scared. And she'll wrestle her with an injured leg like Tiffany Stratton did. And what happened? That led to Stephanie Vacure officially getting attacked again by Raquel, and Raquel inflict more damage on her leg. Injured leg. So that was stupid on Stephanie's part. That was stupid. That was stupid. Especially somebody like Raquel. Especially a brute like Raquel. Raquel Rodriguez is a brute. She has brute strength. That was stupid on Stephanie's part. But it's all part of the script. But I'm gonna call the script for what it is. That was stupid what Stephanie did. So it's pretty much man official that Raquel Raquel is winning the title from Stephanie. It's official that it's going to happen. So agree to disagree, man. Agree to disagree if you want to. So and what else happened tonight? The Judgment Day is about to implode as well. The Judgment Day is about to implode because Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez came to the back, and Liv Morgan and Finn Balor somewhat had it out. You know, they got Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez got upset because Finn Balor was back there playing WWE 2K25 and not going out there handling business. You know, trying to keep the team together. But what I'm ready for is, man, it's for Judgment Day to implode. I'm ready for Judgment Day to implode. I've been ready for it to implode. Judgment Day has been watered down. It's time to, you know what I'm saying, break up the Judgment Day. And I'm pretty sure it's about to happen now. Everybody's about to go their separate ways, and it's time. It's time. It's been time. So, what I think is going to happen is because we already know Finn Balor is not winning the strap from CM Punk. So speaking of Finn Balor and CM Punk, Finn Balor came out there to put CM Punk on notice to let him know he want to challenge for the world title. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of people love to see Finn Balor win it, but he's not going to win it. He's not winning the title. He's not winning it for sure. So I already know when Finn Balor doesn't win it, man, that's when the Judgment Day is going to implode. Everybody going to go their separate ways. But who is going to break up the Judgment Day? It could be Finn Balor, or I think it's going to be Liv Morgan and Roxanne to do it. But it's time for the Judgment Day to break up, man. Everybody need to go their separate ways. The Judgment Day is watered down. The Judgment Day been watered down. I'm gonna be honest. When it was, although I'm not the biggest fan of Rhea Ripley no more. When it was Rhea Ripley, Edge and Damian Priest, the Judgment Day was a solid stable. It was a solid stable. When it was just those three, because you know Edge is Edge is an in-ring veteran. Edge is a legend, so he knew what to do. He booked the group solid. So they eventually turned on Edge, and then that left it Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor, and they were solid for a little while. Then after a while, they became watered down. They became watered down after that. But man, yeah. So the Judgment Day is about to implode, which is I'm ready for it to implode. Seems like Finn Balor might break up the Judgment Day. He might be the one to do it. I don't know because he's been frustrated and not winning no titles, so he might be the person to break it up. He might be. We're gonna see, man. They're definitely going to give us a swerve on how the Judgment Day is going to implode. But I see it being Finn Balor, and I can possibly see it being Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez do it because they coexist very well together. So we're gonna see, man, how the Judgment Day breaks up. But we're definitely going to get a swerve. They're gonna give us a swerve. So putting that aside, man, Javon Nevins appeared on the main roster tonight. Um, Javon Nevins is one of my favorites, but ain't got a dislike for him. So it seems like I don't know, man. I don't know how they're gonna book Javon Nevins on the main roster. Whatnot. I can't really put my finger on how they may book him. He may get booked solid and eventually win the title. Cause he didn't get a chance to win one when he was in NXT. So who knows? They could make up for that and put part of the IC championship on him. We're gonna see. But it looked like they may have big plans for Javon Nevins, man. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. And he had a match tonight and won and came out on top, whatnot. So we're gonna see how it plays out with Javon Nevins. So that's all I got to say about him. So Braun Breaker, let's talk about him. Braun Breaker interfered in a match and he got suspended. He put his hands on Adam. Well, Adam Pierce, Paul Heyman was right. Adam Pierce did put his hands on Braun Breaker first, and the Braun Breaker was enraged. He already was enraged. So Adam Pierce put his hands on him, and he instantly regretted it. So he suspended um he suspended Braun Breaker whatnot. So I don't know how long Braun Breaker gonna be out. But how it's looking, man, eventually Braun Breaker is going to dethrone CM Punk for the world title. But it might be after WrestleMania. He should have won it. He should have won it at he should have won it on Monday Night Raw at the beginning of January. He should have won it then. I don't know, man. So CM Punk might be keeping the title at WrestleMania, retaining. So we're gonna see how that goes. Look like they're probably gonna have CM Punk as the world champion and AJ Lee as the women's IC champion for a little while until Roxanne dethrones AJ Lee for it. So Braun Breaker got suspended tonight. So I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but like Paul Heyman said, Adam Pearce is in trouble because he did put his hands on Braun Breaker first. So Braun Breaker suspension should be getting uplifted pretty soon because Paul Heyman was right. Adam Pearce did touch Braun Breaker first. He did. So now Braun Breaker is not getting suspended. I see his suspension getting uplifted. So what's going to happen is Adam Pearce is going to have to apologize to Braun Breaker. Although I know he's not going to want to, but he ain't going to want to apologize, but he's not going to have a choice. He's going to have to uplift his suspension. But so next week we're gonna see how that one plays out. Next week, we're gonna see how that take place. So moving forward, all right, man. I want to talk about exactly. Yeah, he did touch him first. So, all right, man. Let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the main event. Okay. I'm not shocked that match ended the way that it did. I knew AJ Styles was going to tap out Gunther, but what I knew was the referee wasn't going to see the tap out. And Gunther wins in a dirty fashion against AJ Styles. And I predicted it to be that way. What's going on, Billy Bob? Welcome to the chat, bro. I predicted it to go that way. I predicted, so yeah, Braun Breaker not getting suspended. He not getting suspended. He's not getting suspended. Adam Pearce is going to have to uplift his suspension and apologize. And what I think is Braun Breaker, what he's going to do is to piss off Adam Pearce. He's going to make him apologize. I get back to AJ Styles versus. I'm gonna talk about Adam Pearce and Braun Breaker a little more. I want to get into that a little more. What's going to happen is when Adam Pearce have to have to uplift Braun Breaker's suspension, Braun Breaker is going to make him apologize. He's going to make him apologize. That's what I see happening. And Adam Pearce ain't going to want to do it, but he's not going to have a choice. But and Braun Breaker going be back being reckless again. So, but like I said, we're going to get a match probably with Braun Breaker versus CM Punk going into WrestleMania 42. And I see CM Punk retaining. Now, Braun Breaker could come out on top. He could win this time against CM Punk. He could win. But I don't know why part of me more so sees CM Punk retaining at WrestleMania 42. And then Braun Breaker finally wins the strap from CM Punk at SummerSlam. That may be the solution they go with. The third time they wrestle, Braun Breaker eventually dethrones CM Punk for the world title at SummerSlam. That may be what they're setting us up for. Although I mean, they didn't have to do that to begin with. So that's what I think may happen. CM Punk retains once again. Yeah, CM Punk retained once again against Braun Breaker at WrestleMania 42. Then when SummerSlam get here, Braun Breaker finally wins it from CM Punk at SummerSlam, and then we go on from there. So that's what I think gonna happen. That's what I think. That's what I think gonna happen. So CM Punk might be keeping the world title up to SummerSlam. That's what I think. We gonna see. Now we gonna see how it all plays out. That's what I think gonna happen. So I think CM Punk and AJ Lee will be keeping their titles up to SummerSlam, and I see AJ Lee and CM Punk dropping both of their titles together. I see them dropping both of their titles together. Roxanne Perez wins the women's IC strap. Roxanne Perez wins the women's IC title from AJ Lee at SummerSlam, and Braun Breaker finally wins the world title from CM Punk at SummerSlam. Pete Dunne is hella too bad. He's stuck with a fake luchador gimmick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that, bro. I agree. Yeah, Pete Dunne is too underrated for that. Pete Dunne is too underrated. Very talented. Damn good mat technician wrestler. Pete Dunne, he's double tough now. So we gonna see, man. We gonna see. And Uber Femi is on his way to the main roster. That's gonna be pretty epic. Uber Femi is on his way to the main roster after he successfully retained his title against Leon Slater. He relinquished the NXT title, so he's on his way to the main roster. That's gonna be pretty epic. Is he gonna appear on SmackDown or Raw? For some reason, I don't know why, but Uber Femi might go to SmackDown. His little short beef with R Truth was funny. Yeah, it was. It was. Then again, no, I think Uber Femi's gonna go to Raw. Uber Femi might go to Raw. Yeah, it would make more sense for Uber Femi to go to Raw. And here's why I say that. We can get the feud between Braun Breaker and Uber Femi for the world title for the strap. We could get Braun Breaker versus Uber Femi for the world strap. Yeah, hell yeah. That will cook. That will cook. Yeah, they eventually, like I said, let Braun Breaker go on the chair as the world champion. Then Uber Femi come out of nowhere and put him on notice. And we have a then they you know what I'm saying build a story between Braun Breaker, you know what I'm saying, and Uber Femi. They build a story between Braun Breaker versus Uber Femi. It'll cook. Because both of them are strong as hell. So yeah, that would definitely cook. Uber Femi go ahead and put Braun Breaker on notice. So let them know he ain't the only person that's built with rage and can hurt people, run through people. Uber Femi let, you know what I'm saying, put him on notice, let him know he ain't the only person that's super powerful and that can run through people. He's good at it as well. Imagine our truth was calling him a butch ass nugget. Yeah, yeah, that was funny. So yeah, man, yeah, Uber Femi, yeah, he's better off on Raw. Put him on Raw. Uber Femi versus Brock Lesnar would be a good feud. But I would also love to see Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar. That would definitely cook. And that might, I'm pretty sure they'll put Braun Breaker over to retain his title against Brock Lesnar. That's when Uber Femi come out of nowhere and put Braun Breaker on notice for the world title. And we get the feud between those two. And who knows, Uber Femi might be the one to dethrone Braun Breaker for the world title. It's possible to happen. Depends on how long you keep it. I don't know. But we all know Uber Femi is on his way to the main roster. Yeah, Uber Femi is more so going to the main roster because we already got Trick Williams on SmackDown. So Uber Femi will be better off coming to the main Raw. Uber Femi will be better off coming to Raw because we already got Trick Williams on SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I think that's what's gonna happen. So we're gonna see how it all plays out with Uber. But he would be better off on the main roster. Cause him feuding with Braun Breaker, the fans would love to see that. And imagine Uber, no, not just that, Uber Femi, he could feud with the whole Visionary. Uber Femi versus Logan Paul would cook. Uber Femi versus Bronson Reed would cook. Uber Femi would fucking squash Austin Theory. I don't take Austin Theory serious at all. I don't take him serious at all. Trying to be a tough guy. I don't take him serious. Yeah. We gonna see. All right, man. But I never cared for Austin Theory. Period. Uber Thanos. I never with Devon Thanos. I never cared for Austin Theory. Period. I never cared for him. He used to annoy me with that damn cell phone. I never cared for him, and not at all. I never liked him. I never liked Austin Theory. He used to get on my nerves with that damn cell phone, taking selfies and shit. Yeah, I definitely don't take him serious as a heel. But yeah, man, Uber Femi versus Logan Paul will cook because we know Logan Paul can wrestle. You don't have to like him at all. I don't like him, but like I said, I definitely know what I'm saying. You got to give it to him. Dude can wrestle. His very first match at WrestleMania with The Miz, it was just like Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? Had been wrestling for over a decade. Especially his second match against The Miz 1-on-1. Like I said, it was just like Logan Paul had been wrestling for over, you know what I'm saying, a decade. That's how good he is as an in ring competitor. That's how good he is. So yeah, man. So Uber Femi versus Braun Breaker, including the Visionary. Yeah, but eventually, Angel Garza was underrated. Yeah, he was. He was. He was. So Uber Femi versus Braun Breaker and a visionary by his side. Yeah, that would cook. Some would say that's a WrestleMania match with Braun Breaker versus Uber Femi. But I don't see it, no. So I don't see it. I don't. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't happening no time soon. It ain't happening. Because Uber Femi is just now about to come to the main roster. So WrestleMania 42 is not really that far away. We got a couple of months, but it's not really all that far away. It's not that far away because the Royal Rumble is coming pretty soon. So the WrestleMania is not really all that far. We got a couple of months for WrestleMania. We got a couple of months for WrestleMania 42, but it's not that far away. So all right, man. He had a lot of charisma too, especially when he take his pants off during the match. Being a solid mid carder. Yeah, he have. Yeah, all right, yeah. Yeah, Angel Garza, that dude the flirt. He real flirtatious with the women. He real flirtatious, but the dude can wrestle. He makes up for it with his wrestling. He's definitely more than a flirtatious guy. He's more than a flirtatious dude. He's more than a damn flirtatious guy. The dude, he wrestle his ass off. He can wrestle now. More than flirtatious for sure. Yeah, how he rip his pants off. Yeah, you know, the women love that shit. I ain't seen him in a while neither. But so yeah, man, let's go ahead and talk about putting that aside. Let's talk about AJ Styles versus damn they fought down. But anyway, putting that aside, let's talk about AJ Styles versus Gunther. That's the match of the night, main event match of the night. It was a great back and forth match, but I'm not shocked that the match ended the way that it did. I knew that AJ Lee would tap Gunther out, but I still knew AJ Lee wouldn't win the match. I knew it wasn't going to be some screwy business. So notice most of the match, AJ Lee torqued Gunther's leg because he said he was going to tap him out. So he went with the smart strategy to torque Gunther's leg to death through the match. He tore, I ain't say he torqued the death, but he torqued his leg pretty good. He torqued Gunther's leg through the match. So Gunther's leg was injured. You know what I'm saying? Gunther's leg were hurt. Gunther's leg were hurt. You know what I'm saying? So AJ Lee torqued Gunther's leg to set him up for his submission move, the calf crusher. So he worked on Gunther's leg and did a pretty good job on it. So Gunther's leg was hurt. His leg was hurt. He had a weak limb. So um AJ Lee, not AJ Lee, I said AJ Lee. There was a back and forth. Well, it was a back and forth match. AJ Styles carried Gunther through the match. To be honest, AJ Styles carried Gunther. So yeah, but like I said, AJ Styles carried Gunther in the match. He carried him for sure. You know, we know AJ Styles can wrestle. He's a great mat technician wrestler slash high flyer. So anyway, back to the match. AJ Styles kept focusing on Gunther's leg and did a good job at torquing his leg, and he did a good job at weakening his limb. He weakened his limb, so Gunther had a weak limb. He had a weak limb, so AJ Styles went for his finisher, the calf crusher on Gunther, like 3 or 4 times. No, it was 4 times he hit him with the calf crusher. So one of the times Gunther broke it. The other time Gunther got to the well, no, he tried to get to the rope, and that's when AJ Styles flip flipped them over away from the ropes and applied the calf crusher again, and Gunther tapped out. But the referee didn't see the tap out because he tapped out from the other side. He tapped out. He tapped out on the other side where the referee couldn't see it. So AJ Styles got up and was like, "No, so what are you doing?" He tapped out. So I was like, "What the hell happened?" 'Cause I didn't see Gunther tap out neither. I didn't see the tap. I didn't know what the hell AJ Styles was talking about. So I was like, that's when I was like, hold on. I said, nah. Gunther tapped out. The referee didn't see it. So I was like, no. I said, no. AJ Styles right. Gunther did tap out. The referee just didn't see that shit. I caught on to it quick. It threw me off, but then I caught on real fast. I said, nah, Gunther tapped out. The referee didn't see the tap out though. He tapped out from the other side. So anyway, so when the referee went to the announcer, that's when Gunther he low blow AJ Styles and finished him off with his power bomb. And the referee, when the referee they made a call and said that they didn't see Gunther tap out, so they had to finish the match. That's when Gunther capitalized and hit AJ Styles with a low blow, hit him with his finisher, and won the match. So AJ Styles technically won. AJ Styles had Gunther beat, but the referee didn't say the tap out. The referee didn't see the tap out, and Gunther knew what he was doing. Not like Gunther Dahl, but you got to give it to him. What Gunther did was smart. Gunther tapped out from the other side so the referee wouldn't see the tap out. When AJ Styles got up, AJ Styles can make a complaint, can debate with the referee that Gunther tapped out. So when the decision was made, they didn't see Gunther tap out. You know what I'm saying? AJ Styles had to finish the match. That's when Gunther capitalized when the referee back was turned and hit AJ Styles with a low blow. And hit with his finisher and won. So yeah, so I'm not sure. I knew the match was gonna end like that, but AJ Styles did tap out Gunther just like he said he was gonna do. He did tap him out. He stood on his word. He was a man of his word regardless. Although the referee didn't see the tap out. So AJ would have won tonight if the referee would have saw the tap out, but not sure it ended that way. So man, I'm gonna go on and get up out of here, man. Thanks everybody for sharing your comments and takes about my video and stuff like that. So any new people in my chat, man, if you like my video, man, subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on my notifications where you won't miss any more of my live videos. I post videos every single day. I post videos, short clip videos, and live streams. So once again, subscribe to my channel. And with that being said, it's your boy Hitman D, and I'm going to sign out.